In Lecture 6 we're going to be taking a look at the price elasticity of demand. This is going to be a measure of how much extra we would buy if the price went down, or correspondingly how much less we would buy if price went up. Now we know a lot of things about demand so far, but all of them are just directional. So we know when price changes, quantity demanded will change in the opposite direction. That's the law of demand. We know for most things when our income goes up, we'll buy more. We know when the price of a substitute, say, goes up, we'll stop buying the substitute and buy more of the original good. So we know a lot about in which direction these changes will take place, but what we don't know for now is anything about how much of a change we're going to get. How steep or shallow the demand curve is, how far we would need to move the demand curve if a change occurred. So in order to think about that, I want to tell you guys a story about my first real job that I had. My first real job was working at a supermarket in the produce department. And as I got more senior within that role, I started to be able to do some of the ordering. Ordering is really important at the supermarket because you want to make sure, one, you've got enough to sell to everybody, you don't want to run out, but you don't want to order too much, particularly in the fruit and veggie department or the bakery or the deli or the butchery, because those things can go bad before they get sold. So it's really important to be able to know how much to order. This can get really tricky when prices change. We would get a heads up that, say, the bananas were going to go on special next week. And that would mean that we knew we would have to order more bananas because we were going to sell more when the price fell. But by how much? Well, it turns out that we would typically sell an extra 20 boxes of bananas when the price went down by 50%. Okay, well that's all well and good, but 20 boxes is something that might make sense for a big store, but for a small store, 20 boxes would be, way too much. So how could we come up with a rule that would work for like all the stores in terms of how many extra boxes of bananas you would need when the price goes down by a given amount? Price elasticity of demand is the sort of thing that we would turn to here. So if prices go down by some amount, we could express, instead of talking about how much more people were going to buy, in percentage terms they were going to buy. And then that percentage change might be similar across lots and lots of different experiences, lots of stores, lots of locations, whatever. And so that's one of the ways in which we will try to measure these demand changes. Another thing that is going to be interesting is to think about how much money we would receive as a firm if we increased our price or decreased our price. Can you guys see that it's possible that we would get more money if prices went down, if people bought a lot more? Could you also see that it's possible we could get more money if we put prices up, if people keep on buying that product, if they don't react strongly to the price change? So these things are going to be really, really important to understand if we are looking to understand how much people will buy of particular things, and particularly as a business, how much our revenue is going to change as we change our prices.